This video is about the steps or elements that need to occur before creativity is expressed.
For is how everything works. What makes everything work? It has to do with curiosity.
Creativity is preceded by two important steps. One is curiosity. One must be curious. The second step is imagination. Creativity is the expression of imagination.
Creativity, as I see it, is the process of having original ideas that have value.
It's the power of imagination that leads to the creative mind.
Now, the thing is about creativity that you can be creative in anything. People often say they're not creative. What they mean very often, in my experience, is they're not very arty. They can't play an instrument, or they don't paint, or they don't do theatre or dance. All those things in the arts can be very, very creative. But you can be creative in anything. You can be a creative mathematician, a creative chemist, a creative physicist, a creative cook, chef, you name it. Anything that involves human intelligence is a scene of possible creative achievement.
Being creative requires the use of your imagination. Seeing, not just looking. Listening, not just hearing. Smelling and reflecting. Touching and feeling. So it's the input from our four senses, and the brain, using those four senses, generates curiosity. And curiosity is the forerunner of imagination, and the manifestation of imagination is creativity, and the implementation of that is innovation. See, listen, smell, and touch. It is the wonder of the child that generates the curious mind. Fill your children's minds with the opportunities to develop their imagination. Curiosity is the process when you see rather than just look, and then ask what, how, why. It begins with your mind, is presented with sight, sound, and smell. It requires visualization. Curiosity is the birthplace of imagination.
So how'd you get so smart anyway?
I have no special talent, but I am very, very curious, Alice. All I do is ask questions, just like you do. That's the most important thing. Anybody can do that.
Questioning is the process that guides you down the proper path. If you don't know where you're going, all roads will take you there. So it's your brain where imagination is born. The imagination process in your brain will lead you to the next steps that provide the breakthrough. Your imagination generates your creative ideas. It is curiosity that drives the process of creativity. The standardization of education is what kills creativity. As a parent, teacher, or mentor, you must create an environment that fosters curiosity. For without that environment, an imagination cannot flourish. And without curiosity or imagination, there is no chance of creativity. So without imagination, there is no chance of creativity. Use your brains to create. Remain curious like a child. It is only by pushing the limits of your imagination that you can hope to develop new creative ideas. Imagination requires you to be able to visualize that which you are interested in. Imagination is the multiple visualizations of the subject of interest to you. The creative idea is formed from the multiple visualizations that we call imagination. That critical thinking leads to a new type of thinking and new thoughts, and that new thinking allows us to explore the boundaries of our paradigms and think out of the box to form new ideas. So, as Albert Einstein created his thought experiments or visualizations, we too must use the same process that we call imagination to be able to generate new creative ideas. The more time you spend imagining, the better you will become.
The clue to understanding that you can assess creative is to go back to the definition, that it's about original ideas that have value. And in any particular field, you have to identify the criteria for originality, for example. You have to identify what you mean by value. And I remember years ago, I was working on a university committee and somebody was saying, well, how would you ever judge a novel? How would you judge how creative it is? And I said, well, you'd ask some novelists about that. How would you judge a mathematical paper? Well, you ask people who know about that discipline in the field to make judgments about whether it does count.
Greatest legacy is not general relativity. It's not the photoelectric effect, and it's not slices of his brain. It's a word, Gedankenexperiment. That's German for thought experiment.
So curiosity is the first step of many that first leads to the imaginative process, the key to creative thinking. So creativity comes from the implementation of the imaginative process.
Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, the father of modern physics, was a shining example of the power of imagination and curiosity. Despite facing setbacks and challenges, he never lost his sense of wonder and desire to explore the world around him. His curious nature and love for learning led to some of the most groundbreaking discoveries in history, including the theory of relativity. Einstein's story is a testament to the limitless potential that lies within us when we embrace our curiosity and let our imagination run wild. So let us follow in Einstein's footsteps and never lose our sense of wonder. Let us embrace our curiosity and tap into the power of our imagination, for that is the path to growth, success, and making a difference in the world.